We talk about dreams, whether you can visualize it or not. If you have it written down, like Zack Lannan's goal when he was 18, I want to grow the best mustache that anyone has ever seen. Now we're still working on it.
Hey.
But I'm going to tell you, bro, it's getting dang strong. It's one of these top sports performance guys. You got MLB guys coming into the gym and everything else. And I know there's been people along the way, but you've taken it to the next level at Chadwick's. You still work with our team, which God knows why that is. And you work with me, I think maybe just to test stuff on me. It's like, it's like that commercial in the 80s. Just give it to Mikey.
We have a running bet around Chadwick's and how long you'll last.
Yeah. Like, what can we do to Josh today to make him pass out?
There are days, yep.
That 1 mile bike ride, I was close that day. So I walk in one day and Zach just looks at me. He's like, today's going to be a hard day. And when he says that,
you already know.
I'm like, dang.
And I save those for days when it's like, I feel obligated to at least let him know, you know?
This wasn't let me know. This is what this was. This was we did, 315 deadlift, straight bar deadlift.
Oh, no, you're thinking,
yeah, that day.
Yeah.
See, even he's like
315-pound deadlift for 3 reps?
I think it was 3 reps, which is not a lot. I mean, that's good weight, but it's not.
It was straight bar, too.
It was straight bar. It was straight bar.
Straight bar, yeah.
And then go directly into was it 200-meter sprint?
No, I think it was 400 meters.
Yeah, sprint.
On the curved treadmill.
5 rounds. Okay, was there a break or was it just straight trying to get it underneath the time?
It was 4 rounds. 4. It was to get a total of 1,600.
I don't remember. I passed out.
I get a picture from him. No.
I came back in here and sat at that chair right there.
He was looking at the wall, arms crossed, feet propped up, just staring into the corner. And I was like, okay, the production here, it's like, I definitely know that it hit that hard.
Listen to me, man. I wasn't right for 4 days. Okay. That was intense. But those moments when you get pushed like that, you just know.
It's a gut check.
It is a gut
have
check.
A gut check every now and then.
There's a lot of other checks too. But anyways, that's the thing. We've been working out since 2018. The spring of 2018.
Yep.
So we're going on 8 years. Been through a lot together. Man, we went through COVID. I've watched you go through girlfriends and breakups and then finally meet your lovely wife that you have now to buying your first home. We worked out together during COVID. We'd go over to the park. We were lifting picnics, tables and trash cans. We got like a 20-pound vest. And we maintained a workout schedule through all that.
Never thought I'd do thrusters with a park bench. That's a true story.
That is a true story.
It's a true story.
We did that from probably, when did Chad? It was probably like April through July.
The entire month of April, we were shut down.
Yeah.
And then I think we started kind of letting clients return about July. Yeah.
Yeah.
We had like a very strict policy on like the space. That was
dude, that was 5 years ago, man.
Yeah. That's wild.
It doesn't fly. It's just, and then you've seen me change a ton because, you were really right at the start of when I made that physical transition, decided I was over, being overweight and all that kind of stuff. And that was, to now where we're like taking our team in there and working out, doing the Vanguard workout, which, we got some cool stuff. Tuesday. That was a good day. Mm-hmm. We got some good content. Everybody was just like,
good.
It was really good, man. But, was there ever a time, was there ever a time like recently or 7 or 8 years ago when you started working out with me, could you have ever imagined where things are for you, for AEC? I mean, AEC wasn't even a thing.
That was not even on the radar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you've got like MLB guys coming in there that have big time contracts.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're just normal guys though.
And they're just normal guys, but still normal guys that want the best.
Yeah. Yeah. There's definitely a standard. Now, I mean, I think if I had to say, imagine, I'm not a big dreamer. I'm more of a kind of pragmatic in that approach.
I know.
I think I'm always expecting the next level. We've talked about this.
Yeah.
And so to say, could I ever have imagined it? It's like, I don't really know if that's the right context. I would say more so, did I know something was going to happen that was going to be greater than where I was at, where you were at? 100%.
Yeah.
I think it's just and do I think that still? Yes.
Oh,
there's still more to become, or more to achieve, more to accomplish. There's, I've always looked at a growth mindset as kind of continuous. If you've gotten to where you want to be, you've kind of eliminated the growth mindset.
Yeah.
But I'd say, yeah. I mean, I knowing myself, learning to know you, that it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, people like, I'm going to say winners, because I mean, dude, that's like, I want to say people who really just keep pushing. Right before they get to hitting that bar, that goal they set, they move the goal. They never really achieve it. And so, we talk about all the time. So really, where's the fulfillment at? Is it in the process? Is it in the, you know what I'm saying? It's a weird thing, because like every time we get to a close spot, I'm like, well, let's just move that goal. Because it's like, it's the chase.
Yeah.
That's so freaking fun with it.
Yep.
And the approach to it, like, you are more pragmatic. I'm like, Disney World. I mean, I'm just like, dream it, let's go,
Yeah.
And yeah, there is so much more to achieve, and so much more opportunity out there. I guess if you look back then versus now, just from a pure sports performance, what has been the biggest mental mindset shift for you? I mean, is there anything that comes to mind right off the top of your head? Because I can tell you a ton for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think organization was something I struggled with coming out of college. I mean, college teaches you a lot of things, concepts, principles, methodologies, but it doesn't really do a great job of teaching you organization. You either pick it up or you don't.
Yeah.
So I feel like I kind of struggled to find my feet on that for a while. And then once I started becoming more organized, I started seeing how that impacted my work, and my work became more methodical, more algorithmic, and it was more of an if-then structure to my decision-making process. And I think with programming, especially sports performance, it's so much of an if-then. It's always a branch. There's always a fork to choose. And if you're a poor decision maker because you lack organization, that's going to show. Yeah. You're going to start losing clients. You're going to not see results. So I think the organization aspect of learning to grow in that area really helped me refine the way that I oriented my processes. Yeah. And then I could start utilizing the knowledge that I'd picked up. And I think that's where a lot of young coaches go wrong, is they try and go, this is the right way to do it. Here's the structured process of like how to actually get results, as opposed to figuring out how they're going to integrate all of that. And I think that was a big growth area for me pre-COVID. COVID. You
talk a lot about time blocking.
Yeah, dude, I've time blocked this podcast. I know. So yeah, time blocking, that's something I picked up recently, actually. I have an app that I use, ClickUp, where you can do timesheets, more so for companies, but I use it just to kind of manage and see, I'll like to audit myself. It's this fun thing I do. But phone calls, client sessions, meetings, like we're doing our annual reviews at Chadwick's right now with all of our employees, workouts. Yeah. I need to be better about the weekends, but I feel like that's kind of my safe place where I don't really want to go too crazy. Yeah. But time blocking has been huge. But yeah, overall organization, I think, is kind of if I had to put one word to it, that was the turning point for professional growth. Yeah. Well, and
you touched on it for a second. I want to expand upon it a little bit, but I think you're right. Most trainers, most people, profession, whatever, they want to take what they're doing and put it in a box and say, I've got it all figured out. And the one thing that I've watched you do over the years is you didn't do that. You didn't say, this is my system and I'm sticking to it. You continually grew, and really what you're dealing with at that point is comfort zone. People want to feel like they have control over everything they're doing. This is a system, it works, and we're not changing it. When in fact, you have to. You need to grow and expand. I mean, Lord, man, back when I was in sports, it was like, bench press, put on size. There was no, let's get you as lean and as strong pound for pound, flexibility wise as possible, which will reduce injury. It was like heavy weights. There was no maintenance involved. There was no, to see where it's come now, where you're ramping people up. And the other day you were talking to David about, well, this is the time we'll work on power. Mm-hmm. Build power, and then you need to start working on your fast twitch in the spring, to think about, you talk about different energy systems.
Yeah.
Talk about nutrition, but all that's come from you not being afraid of getting outside your comfort zone.
Yeah. The kind of a relatively new concept that I'm toying with. So when you think about like the world, like it's seasonal unless you live at the equator, and it's kind of steady, but most people don't live at the equator. So there's ebbs and flows with almost everything in life. And that's kind of crazy to wrap your head around when you think about it, that it's so cyclic and so rhythmic, but there are such drastic changes in the way that we live. When you look at like periodization for sports, right? It's like different sports are in seasons. There's things that you need to be working on at certain parts of the year that maybe you shouldn't be at others, and vice versa.
Right.
So what I've found with the organizational aspect of it is if you can maintain extreme, not like extreme organization, but just like very disciplined manners in which you get the mundane things done, you're it's easier to identify those ebbs and flows, the peaks and the valleys. And when you can do that, then you can integrate yourself into those processes, or that mapped out rhythm that you've now seen. And you can more easily attack the finite variables. Whereas if you're just kind of lacking organization as a whole, you don't know if you're at the top, you don't know if you're at the bottom. You're just like, it's chaos.
Yeah.
And
it is.
There is a really good point to that, because if you can't identify what needs to be worked on, then it's throwing darts with a blindfold on.
Absolutely.
You have no idea where you're throwing, So that's kind of how I look at it. And it's again, I'm still playing around with it, like concepts like autoregulation, then the human body, like meeting the athlete or the client where they're at that specific day, because that's something that's like the grand quandary of strength and conditioning.
Right.
But that only happens if you have organization
and just a baseline. Like, we talk about your morning routine, having yourself prepped every day, whether you get up and do a cold plunge, or you get up and you walk, or you get up and do your morning momentum, having that time to prime yourself for the day, to your point, creates a consistency in your life that everything else should revolve around. And you can identify when those revolutions are out of sync, or maybe you need, does that make sense?
That's 100% it.
Yeah.
If you're not organized with how you live to an extent, like there's a point where you can become robotic and really take it to that extreme.
Yeah.
But the idea is that you don't want to be at either extreme. You kind of want to be at the pinnacle of that bell curve of like, I'm organized, I'm efficient, I know what I'm doing. That way, when things do go wrong, I mean, they train for that in special forces. It's like they train many different scenarios so that, if things do break out of your routine, you're still prepared.
Yep.
But it starts with having that routine. That's why the military is so rhythmic with how they train.
Yep.
It's 100% it.
Well, it is. And I think it flows over to nutrition as well. We talk about that a lot, is if your nutrition is up and down and you're eating cookies, Keegan, and crap like that, your hormones and everything else are going to be out of sync. Now, you can get away with it when you're younger. I mean, you're getting into your 30s now. I think you just turned 31. Memory serves.
31.
And it starts to affect you a little more.
Yeah.
The ups and the downs, and it's just part of life. And we're getting breakthroughs in how to identify genetic things that can be supplemented with vitamins or whatever, but it still holds true. So if your baseline, which is what we talk about, the controllables, so to speak. Nobody's perfect. But the controllables are in rhythm. Then the uncontrollable things out there, they are more apparent.
Yes.
Right? So let me ask you, so from the top of the top MLB person to your regular professional who comes in there to your high, whatever professional, the people you deal with, what's the biggest thing you see like misunderstanding when it comes to fitness and nutrition across the board?
Like things they get wrong?
Things they come in with this assumption of that they're wrong. Just,
I think, well, I could throw a list out. I don't have one.
Please do.
I'll say the first one is that supplementing, like supplementation is going to solve all your problems.
Right.
Say that's number one. It's like, well, let's look at that sleep there, big boy. Like you ain't getting sleep. Yeah.
We've had that discussion, haven't we, big guy?
Yeah.
Somebody likes to get a little
I used
excited.
to get freaking pictures from this guy at like 2:30 in the morning.
What? I'm a little high strung.
He's standing next to the oven timer right here, phone up here, just pointing at it. It's like 2:30. I'm like, bro, go to bed. Like that's not impressive. That's gonna harm you. But again, that's there's macro phases, there's micro phases, and that's how you got to look at it. And you just got to know where you're at. But I think the fact that people think supplementation is going to solve their problem is probably the question I get asked the most.
But why? Let's dive into
They want the easy route. We've talked about this. They want the quick fix. They want the Ozempic. It's like, is that the best for your situation or your long-term situation? Like there's so many questions to ask, and I think they just want that easy comfort zone fix.
And I mean, do you know enough about yourself genetically? Is that actually the right thing for you to take? Like, I went and did my genetic testing and got all the blood work back, and they're like, dude, you do not need to take a multivitamin. These are the specific supplements you need to take. The multivitamin, I think it was the biotin that they put in there, was throwing my thyroid, throwing it off.
Yeah.
And you don't even realize it, but that's all because of how good Lord made me. And so to your point, they're trying to overcome and they're not fixing the underlying issue.
Yeah. I mean, they're asking the wrong question. They're asking, what supplements should I be taking? The question they should be asking is, what lifestyle integrations or manipulations should I be making?
Yeah.
What am I doing wrong right now that I can fix without having to spend money?
Yeah.
First one's go to bed at a time that's reasonable and wake up at a time that gives you time to have, like you said, your morning routine. That's step one for everybody.
I agree.
Like you'll hear me ask my athletes all the time, how was your sleep last night? What's your recovery look like? Because that has such an implication on what we do that day. Like I said earlier, the auto-regulation thing that I'm messing with now. If you don't start with good sleep, that's it. But supplements by far are the biggest questions that I receive from every level of athlete, every level of client. I think it's good that they're asking because they want that edge. But like I said, it's a lack of knowledge or maybe just understanding around the whole concept of improvement. It's like, it's going to take time. Accept that. Yeah. Like Lindsay has some clients, and I'm sure, we haven't necessarily discussed this, but I'm sure she has clients who come to her and expect macros to change their life in 3 weeks and for them to lose all this weight. Well, she'll stick your ass at a maintenance phase for 6 months and she'll basically say, our target is not to lose weight. Well, but I want to lose weight right now. Well, you got to become metabolically healthy. We got to make sure that you're like that means metabolism is actually meeting your caloric needs. So there's so many different things that people are just unaware of. Yeah. That I think they allow to dictate their decision making. Yeah. Whereas what I've learned also is ask the critical question of why this needs to be what it is. And that'll ultimately help you understand each step, identify the checkpoints. And when you can identify checkpoints, then you can build on the small wins. There you go. And I think that's the question people should be asking instead of what supplements do you take? Well, you touched on it. Why is it? And I mean, it's like, the culture is you need to lose weight. Wow. Everybody that comes in, I guarantee you that's what I want to lose weight. Instead of saying, I just want my body to work right. And if my body works right, then it's going to
start to it's the trajectory of it's going to start going into that direction, right? And I think there's just an issue there's been an onslaught over the last 45 years. You and I talk about it all the time. When I was a kid, I remember Cap'n Crunch, dude. Here's what I used to do with Cap'n Crunch, and I love Cap'n Crunch. I would eat all the little gold nuggets first and leave the berries last, so that then I would have like a berry smorgasbord.
It's a berries good information. We're learning something about you here.
Okay, like I can do delayed gratification. Okay, then I would just tear that milk up. But back in the early 80s, late 70s is when you just saw this onslaught of sugar. And then in the 90s.
Refined sugar, too.
Refined sugar.
Started, yeah.
And then in the 90s, it was fat-free.
Yep.
Which was total crap. Now you and I, I'm on the Mediterranean diet, which works perfect for me, where we're getting into monosaturated fats and polysaturated fats and all. Unsaturated. Hey, man, I'm from East Tennessee. You just be glad I said poly right. But either way, because my body doesn't do well with saturated fat, right? So like then what was it? The keto diet, or, in the early 20 years ago, which is probably what I associate a little bit more, the Atkins diet, all that stuff, to where we're at now, where there's just this whole slew of information online that's saying, guys, this has been a bunch of wool that's been pulled over your eyes. It's all about money. And here's the way to live your life. And it's not the same for everybody.
Yeah.
It's just not.
You just gotta figure out what works for you.
That's exactly right.
Build those small, like, I'm going to go for the 0 to 100 mindset never works. Saying like, I'm going to go for a walk is less intimidating to somebody who's sedentary than you got to get 15,000 steps a day.
Yeah.
Because first off, they have no, like 15,000 steps to somebody, they have no concept of what that is.
That's exactly right.
So it's if you go all out down this road, not even knowing if it's the right road to be on. Like, say you didn't have any idea of Mediterranean diet, but you're like so gung-ho because you heard some dude on a podcast talking about it. You're like, I'm going to do freaking Mediterranean diet. And you go all in, you can end up hitting
that sounds a lot like me. That's pretty good. Hey, man.
That's that East Tennessee right
there. Oh, yeah.
But no, you never want it to be an all or none. That never works.
Yeah.
Which I think would probably be the second place that I would say like most people get it wrong, is they think that it's going to be this all or none. Like, I always use this example. I did jiu-jitsu for 5 months and then I quit. Because I was tired of getting my ass beat.
I remember when you got choked out. You're like, he knocked me out.
The guy got mad at me. He was like, why didn't you tap? And I'm like, dude, I don't know. Maybe because I was getting freaking strangled.
And I freaked out. You were like, man, I saw the wizard.
It's called meeting the wizard, I guess. I don't know. It's cool. That's the second time I've been choked out. The first one, I was drunk with my buddies down at the beach and I just told him he wouldn't do it. True story. That was the first time. It's kind of peaceful, but that's not the point. The point is I was getting my ass whooped, not just from like getting choked out, but like also I'm a physical dude and I'm going in there with guys half my size who are efficient and they know how to like use my own body against me. But like, I wanted to be a MMA guy.
Yeah.
It was like this weird phase in my life where I was like, yeah, just try it out.
The many phases of Zack Lannan. Boy, let me tell you. Well, but no, you're right. And I mean, you look at this now, we have been in 2018, like it was right before my 40th birthday really is when I started. It's just like done, but we started working out and it took us about a year before we got me in what I would say good physical condition. What takes time, because it's not funny, haha, but it's very ironic, I guess, that I was learning, and so was the entire fitness industry as well as you. I mean, just to see where the knowledge base has come in the last 6 years, not just with you, but just the fitness industry as a whole, from combining genetic testing. I mean, I think COVID had a big play on that too, where people were like, wait a minute. Whether you were for it or not, it doesn't matter. But there were people saying, after all the data came out, well, my doctor is supposed to know everything, but it feels like he didn't know everything here. He just wanted me. So is there something else I should look at? So you've seen kind of a growth in this holistic doctor approach.
Yeah, integrated.
And where you're going in, getting genetic testing, blood testing, and they're saying, all right, before we put you on statins, let's put you on a Mediterranean diet. Let's get you in better shape. Let's do this whole body approach. And you've to your credit, you've grown with that. Mm-hmm. You didn't go in the gym and say, man, just eat a bunch of carbo gain, protein.
Yeah.
Protein.
Yeah.
And that you wouldn't have said it like that. That's Zack. That's Zack from
Circa
Tennessee.
2017.
Yeah. So, you've grown in that arena too, but it's taken us 7 years just to get me to this point where, like, I used to think low carbs was the answer. Mm-hmm. And because I felt better. But what we realized was it wasn't low carbs, is that I was eating better carbs on that lower carb diet. And when we would go up, I would try to not cheat, but I would just try to fill it with bars, like a gold puck or whatever. But once I fully committed, man, I'm eating like 3,000 calories a day, 26 to 3. And I'm just like, I feel so much better. And so it's kind of been a growth process together, but you're right. People jump into it. And if they don't see results, they need to stop looking at it as a season.
Yeah.
And look at it as a way they live their life. And so to pivot on that, that's really what the whole point of the Vanguard program is. And, you and I have been working on this. We've been talking about this for 4 or 5 years, right? Kind of started out with some crazy dream I probably had. Hey, let me tell you about this dream I had last night, Zach.
I think that actually was it.
And you were like, I'm just glad you slept more than 6 hours. And to now, like, we brought this to fruition where you've built, because, you're like weird like that. You can do Excel spreadsheets like some wizard. And the AI, AI is another thing that's happened. He loves spreadsheets. It's kind of scary. That and his force plates. He's got a thing with those force plates. But, we build out portals for them. We've got this freaking spider chart where it's like charting all their stuff. How have you seen, you've been watching this. We've been doing this for 2 years in April. Mm-hmm. We just started and we kind of built it along the way. Yeah. Outside looking in, how have you seen that affect our people at AC? By the way, what do you think about the undeniable table? I like this. This plays, man. Yeah. This plays. But works. How have you seen that here? Because I want to hear your outside opinion.
Yeah. So first off, there's no end date. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those things where I think when people sign up for like a 12-week program, they're like, I'm going to get results in 12 weeks. Like, well, you might see the ball start to roll in 12 weeks, but your expectations were set falsely just by the structure of the program.
Yeah.
Which I think is where a lot of practitioners, depends on what their end goal is. If they're trying to get money, that's a great way to sell. But if they're trying to see like actual tangible results, we know those take time.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a good way to get people going. But the first thing is that there's no real like end to it. And the second is it's integrated and built into the workspace too.
Yeah.
So you get to accomplish things outside, external of work and operations that allows you to become more of a team.
Yeah.
So it helps with teamwork, camaraderie, stuff like that, getting to know people, starting conversations.
For sure.
Very, very healthy for the workspace.
Doing hard stuff together.
Doing challenging things together. That's why like integrating the challenges into it.
And I tell Mikey this all the time. I think you and I grew really close over COVID because that was a challenging time for everybody. But we were like going out to the park and people were looking at us weird. But we were doing something that nobody else was really willing to do.
We found a way to do the things that needed to be done in an environment that challenged that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
that's to your point.
That's the exact thing. It's bringing people closer together through adversity.
Yeah.
Even though it's like micro adversity.
You have caused 2 of my people to throw up.
Yeah. Yeah. I like doing that. It's fun.
It's awesome.
You see that their face turns about as wide as this wall. And then it's like, yep, know that look. It's
maybe countless others we don't know about.
Well, there have been a few.
I do need to put a petition up though on that one of our employees that threw up, that was on the day they turned in their macros. And technically they didn't meet him because he left half of them in the parking lot.
If you vomit, those are calories coming back.
I think they're lampions, which is the reward system. I think they should be deducted several points. But anyways, keep going.
Which then brings us to some competitive things with teams. I think the ones who have really grasped it and really moved with it, you're seeing results. If you'd have asked them, I can't speak for them, but if you'd asked them 5 years ago that this would be something that they could do as part of their workspace, I think it would have been somewhat of a foreign concept. Like, get out of here. Like, what? There's no way that I'm going to see results physically just by showing up.
Right.
And that's what I tell them too. I'm like, hey, just walk through the doors. Let us take care of the rest. I'm going to be floating around. I like to create kind of this welcoming environment that's like, hey, just show up, do what you got to do. The workout's right here in the app. If you want to do modifications, feel free. You got to create that rhythm. Like I said, if they don't find the rhythm, they'll never be consistent. And consistency, like you and I know, is what leads to long-term change. And I think the people in the group who have seen the best results are the ones who have been the most consistent. And they've just showed up. They
have. And I think this quarter with us, launching, because I mean, you think about it, back in April of, I guess that'd have been 24 when we started officially. There were weeks where one person would show up. Out of everybody, and then then you'd get somebody else, and then each week, and sometimes you sit there and that doubt creeps in. You're just like, you stay patient, you stay consistent, you let it work, and we would build out a new system. And then I think one day we were in here talking about how to reward, and I was like, let's do poker chips, man. Everybody likes poker chips, And then you were like, well, I'm going to do, and it's been a very good collaboration on it. But, and then this quarter has been the best results we've had because, wow, what did we do this quarter, man? We did team competitions, healthy peer pressure competitions.
It's not negative. No. That's the thing is, in a way, I mean, you can decide. It's a decision. It adds a layer of decision making that is for, it used to be singles. Like if you're doing it individually, if you let yourself down, you're kind of okay with that. Which is a problem, in my opinion. If you're going to approach it with excellence. But now that you have other people relying on you to do your job,
changes everything.
It more so emulates what's going on in a business too. So it kind of attaches itself now to the underlying theme of teamwork to make the dream work. If you don't hit your macros one day or for a whole week, the team suffers. If all three of you come together and you're like, man, let's figure out a way to do this. You see the camaraderie start to take foot and they get their lampions.
They do.
It's a cool dynamic for sure. I like the Formula One. Integration.
It's worked out great. And we'll do a different theme each quarter to keep it live. And, we're one to move it to more of a gamification system. But the crazy thing is this is not mandatory. We offer this through Undeniable University, which is the nonprofit, and our staff at AEC has the option to sign up for it. We had one person opt out of it. And then last minute, they're like, wait a minute, I want to get involved in this. And so we're like, you can, but we've already formed the teams, but they do this team involvement, and it really goes to speak about when you're just doing it for you. And we talk about this all the time. When you're just doing it for you, it's easy to let yourself down because, but when you're doing it for other people, this goes for anything in life, when it's a purpose driven that's bigger than you, it's about legacy and impacting other people in a positive way, or if you're evil, some, but you'd be evil, evil way, but in a negative way. I mean, I'm just saying, but if you're doing it to positively impact other people and you've set your heart on it, then that's when you start to see the results change. And you have people that, like we said, I mean, they've pushed themselves in these competitions. Like we'll do the challenges like sled pushes for time, and, seeing 73-year-old man who is just competitive. Get out there and get after it, man. That's one of that brings me so much joy because I know how much it means to him. It's just so awesome. And then, it's like I was joking. We were doing some content the other day and I was asking our Zach Goodwin, I was like, what have you seen out of it? And he's like, well, really, when we come back from these workouts, man, we're really focused. And I joked, and I'm like, and if you can't stand up from your chair because you're so sore, you're going to get a lot of work. Days. But the body fuels the mind.
Yeah.
And what I love about it is you're helping people. It's like Jerry Maguire said, help me help you. You're helping them you're giving them a short-term reward so that they can see the long-term big picture.
Yeah.
And you touched on it earlier that most people want those quick results. And let me ask you this, because you deal with some very high achievers. What's the mental difference between, let's say, a guy who's pitching in the bigs? I mean, maybe it's a little bit of talent, but what's really that underlying thing? Because the difference between him that makes it or her that ends up becoming CEO and the person who just doesn't quite get there.
It's a healthy level. That's the key word, is healthy, because I've seen it go to the extreme on this one as well. It's a healthy level of obsession. If you've ever met an elite level, and I mean like truly elite level athlete, they obsess over their craft. It's one of those where you're sitting there talking to me like, and I feel like I just listened to a lecture in rocket science based on how you just described what your shoulder feels when you throw 30 pitches as opposed to 40. It's like, whoa, I just kind of blacked out for a second listening to you. But again, that can lead to a mental block, which is what you see in sports psychology right now, is the overthinking aspect of it. Right. But there is, when it comes to progress and success in a sport or really in a workplace, because I've dealt with some high level achievers as well. There is a healthy level of obsession, but there's also this balance. You like the word harmony.
Yeah.
You say that all the time.
I do.
With the way they operate. Yeah. They're the types that always seem to have it figured out. And when you look from the outside looking in, it's like, man, they just make it look easy. It's like, what you don't see is behind the door, they're working constantly. They're thinking constantly about how they can improve one area of their life that fulfills them. Yeah.
You don't see them when they wake up at 12:30 at night, angry.
Yeah.
And their wife's like, would you shut up and come to bed? Because they're bitching.
I got to eat 20 grams of protein. Got to stay anabolic.
Or, I cannot believe he did that to me today. I mean, and you don't see that side of it, but they just don't give up, do they?
It's an intense, focused obsession.
Yeah.
But again, not to the extreme. Because you can really develop bad habits.
Oh yeah.
And then you can let life will pass you by and you wake up 10 years later, you're like, what the heck? Like, because you realize the goal that you set. And that's the other thing too, is goal setting, is they know what it is that they need to get done in order to accomplish what they want.
That's right. There was Clayton shares this all the time. There was because I work with him. We talk a lot about it, and Clayton's a very successful, great guy, but we talk a lot about goal setting, and not just goal setting, but writing those goals down and reading them. And here's why. And he ended up kind of looking into it and found this study. There was like, out of all the Harvard graduates, the 2 to 3% that I'm going to say reached that upper echelon of professional accomplishments. There were only like 3% of them, but that 3% were the only ones that literally wrote their goals down.
Yeah.
And stuck to them. So we talk about, like in the mornings, that morning momentum stuff, reading your dreams and goals to remind you why you're doing it, because it's so easy to forget or lose perspective on why you're doing it. And so 2 weeks later, you're off in the woods, like you said, or 10 years later, and you're 70 or 65, which even if I were that age, I'd still say, you know what, crap. Where's that testosterone enhancement place? I'm going to We always joke about that because, hey, listen, man, when I'm 75,
the older I'm getting, the more I'm looking at these peptides like, hey, dude.
What do you got to lose? When you're 80 years old, man, shoot me up.
This make me feel 15 again?
I ain't doing it now because I don't want to waste what I can already produce. But god dang, man, yeah.
I don't know about TRT, but there's definitely some research coming out.
On peptides and stuff?
On stuff like that.
Yeah, and who knows where it'll be.
Never for an athlete because...
With AI, right? I mean, it's discovering stuff all the time, but if you... That time slippage, but that's that writing it down and reminding yourself, we talk about dreams, whether you can visualize it or not. If you have it written down, like Zack Lannan's goal when he was 18, I want to grow the best mustache that anyone has ever seen. Now we're still working on it. Hey. But I'm gonna tell you, bro, it's getting dang strong.
I've got the whole system figured out. It's 5 days, no shave.
Yeah.
And then you trim the lower section and you allow this to kind of come in, and then one day you just Bic razor it and people are like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Where'd that come from? It's like it's been growing behind the scenes all.
Yeah, well, it has. And so I'm gonna share this if you're cool with it. But like his goal is to be able to roll his mustache. So he can get one to kind of flick like this on a good day. But
I think this is your goal.
Is that not what you said?
No, I don't want to roll it. I'm going after the Wyatt Earp look. Kind of. I used to do that number. Yeah.
You're close.
Yeah.
So you doing like some ointment in that thing? It's just naturally that gifted.
Lightly used hand towel.
Yep. So, hey man, that's one of those things. It's a gift. Okay. So, go ahead.
To go to that, I think the company that I'm creating now is the idea, and I think this just goes into life, is we are bombarded every day, and you know this with information, with seeing people that we want to be, imposter syndrome. Yeah. It seemingly took them so short of a time frame to accomplish what they want. We're like, man, why? Like they just have it figured out. And so not only that, but also information on the best modality to use to lose weight or gain muscle or feel healthier or be healthier.
Yeah.
And so there's so much information coming in that we just feel like we're spinning.
Yeah.
And I hear this all the time. It's like it's like, well, what if I did this? What if I did that? What if I do that? And it leads to this kind of paralysis by analysis.
Yeah.
Even if you're not an analytical person, you're still being bombarded by information. So the first thing to do, and my just general recommendation to everybody, is just stop and find stability.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, like I said, that comes from sleep. That comes from just like, hey, just stop. Whether it's take a vacation or just take time to just gather yourself.
Yeah.
Don't create goals. That's a crucial step, but that doesn't come until we're stabilized.
Yeah.
Until we've found stability and, like you said, harmony.
Yeah.
After that, that's that organization piece.
Yeah.
Goal setting is a very organized process. Use the SMART system. It's very easy: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and how much time it's going to take. SMART. It's a great acronym.
Yep.
That's an organized process.
Yep.
Create as many goals as micro goals, macro goals. Like you said, visualize yourself achieving those. I mean, Lindsay and I had on our fridge a piece of paper that had a house. There was a dog. There were like types of interior elements to the house that we wanted. And it's like, we just bought our house. It's like we started that a year ago and we are now home.
It's a good looking house too, man.
Thank you.
It's a good looking house, even though it took you 6 months to get internet. But that's another story.
Yeah, I'm not going to name names, but that was a process.
I haven't seen
the point there is that was only a year. Imagine what you could do with 10 years.
Yeah.
It's like hitting those 10 years, like start there. And then I'm a fan of reverse engineering, but don't do that until you've stabilized your life, until you've found stability or harmony.
Yep.
Because I think that's another issue is people just get too far ahead. Yeah. They're kind of skipping steps.
They are.
And my job a lot of times as a stress manager is to pull the reins, because I'm a big fan of letting the horses run, but sometimes you just got to stop the wagon and take inventory of.
It depends on the person.
Yeah.
With me, you got to pull the reins. With most people, you need to push a little bit more. I mean, if you don't keep an eye on me, I'll get injured in there. Yeah. I'll hurt myself.
Sometimes a horse is just sitting in the corner having a seizure.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, well, let's not have a seizure first. Let's figure out how to get the horse to stand and just be quiet for a second. And I think
they don't know they are.
Because you're being bombarded every day.
Yeah.
It's like, how can you know? Like society wants you to think there's all this shit out there. It's like you want more. You need better. You need different. When in fact, it's like, you just need to stop and be still for a second. That's why it's in the Bible too. Be still.
Yeah.
And know that I am God. He's with us.
Yeah. And Malet, what did he say? It's be blissfully dissatisfied is a great way of putting it. And I won't name his name, but you have a good friend of yours. He's, well-known MLB pitcher, but he was overworking himself. And you had him back down. You want to talk about that real quick?
Yeah. So we used to do the program was 4 days a week. It was a 4-day split, upper, lower. But we would do kind of total body every day.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of gross revenue. I like positive cash flows.
And we all, buddy.
Sometimes
you got to have money for the mission.
Yeah.
It is important.
But no, this was a conversation, I think 2-3 years ago. It's probably our third off season now, where I proposed this idea of, it's hard to stay healthy every year. Do you think you're maybe just overworking? You're just getting too much load for what your body can handle. And so I proposed this idea of, hey, let's back down to 3 times a week. I make less, but ultimately I have more impact and value in the off season's program as a whole. Yeah. So we back down to 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And I'm talking like night and day difference between. A lot of that too could be, he's kind of bought into this like health strategy too. So he does really well there. I've got a couple other people that are like that, where it's like, you can't really pinpoint what the key difference maker was, which is why I'm also like, I like one variable at a time to see kind of what works. But this was one that was kind of that no brainer. And it was a mutual agreement on like, hey, let's back off a little bit. That's not pulling the reins. That's kind of actually letting the reins go a little bit and letting the horse decide. Yeah. And ultimately what it did was the workloads, there was more intent in the workout. So we're actually getting more from the workout instead of him coming in like Thursday and Friday, just smoked from earlier that week. Yeah. 'Cause you only have 16 weeks in the off season, which when you think about it, you're like, wow, that is a very short amount of time because it's a very long season. And you can definitely do too much. You can do too little. There is this like very subtle window or window of opportunity, I guess, when it comes to load management. Like I said, I'm a stress manager. Physical stress. I don't want to hear about your emotional bullshit.
Well, unfortunately, you got to deal with me. So
that's why I had to throw that in there. But no, it was for him. It worked. It worked really well. We're always refining, always continuing to like do things that are new. Yeah. And it's a process just like any other, but again, you have to be malleable. You have to be able to look in the mirror and say, maybe that wasn't the right thing to do. Yeah. But in the time and the place that I was in as a professional, it seemed like it was based on the resources I had access to. Yeah. Continuing to improve, continuing to find that harmony, the balance and all of the variables, is kind of this, what I would say is like a chronic stability. Yeah. Like it's this now, once you're stable, you can turn the page while staying in a stable environment. Yeah. You're not always spinning and I think going to the 3 times a week was huge in that particular instance.
Well, we talk about it all the time. If you had the choice of just having abundance of healthy food the rest of your life or working out the rest of your life, which one would you pick? It's not both. It's either or. Mm-hmm. Which one would you pick? Nutrition, food. Because, you can maintain a very good physical condition just by putting the right stuff in your body. Mm-hmm. But conversely to that, when you start eating crap and your body's inflamed all the time, then it messes up the entire system. Yeah. And that's your mind as well. And let's talk about real quick, because I consider you are a sports performance expert, man. So when it comes to that, I'm going to butcher this for you so you can clean it up. Your mitochondria.
Oh, here we go.
Is the production of ATP. That is the primary currency of energy in your body, correct?
So far, so good.
So far, so good. That has a little rotary motor on it called ATP synthase. Hey, man. I looked that up.
He's learning.
That process oxygen and nutrients in your body. Okay. That converts to ATP. That ATP synthase converts it to ATP. So if the nutrients in your body are crap, your energy is going to be crap.
That's a very, yeah.
I mean, that's a redneck way of putting it, but it works.
That's the truth.
That is the truth. Yeah. So if you're eating crap, even if you have physical fitness, how good is it really going to be? Now, when you're a kid, you're a hormonal beast. You can get away with everything. Mm-hmm. But as you age and that your body doesn't process as efficiently anymore, it becomes a real issue. So I think that's where we look at, if you want to start anywhere, start eating right, drinking enough water. I'm not going to name names, but I literally had somebody here talk the other day. I said, how much water are you drinking a day? He goes, drinking an Angry Angel. He said, I ain't drank water in like 4 years. I go, really? None? He goes, no, none. I said, man, that's not, we got to get you drinking more water. He said, well, I may put on a little bit of weight. And I go, that's the least of your worries. Yep. I said, let's start drinking. I mean, there's people that don't drink water. You physically
cannot live.
As I'm slamming 2 Zevias, but I promise you I've drank my water today, as a matter of fact. But, just start with drinking enough water.
I mean, it can be whatever you want to start with.
Just better, best, worse, whatever.
Good, better, best is what I would say.
Good, better, best. There you go.
Good is like, okay, you're not terrible. But like, think about it this way too. And I think this is just this is all over the internet. People are probably saying this like crazy. You got a war going on in your body between good and bad, spiritually, physically, all of it.
Oh, yeah.
So we can go down a rabbit hole here.
Oh, and we do.
So it's so simple. If you are putting terrible quality nutrients in your body, what do you expect the output to be? And it's like a wake up call. It's like, wake the frick up and just listen to this.
Yep.
Because if you have a Ferrari and you put just standard unleaded gas in it, it's still going to roll a little bit, but it ain't going to perform the way that it should be. Our bodies are infinitely more complex than a Ferrari.
Yep.
And they're designed to eat whole foods. They're not designed for the last 20 years, this shit that's been made in a lab. Like half the artificial sweeteners you look at out there, they were created by mistake. Some dude licking his lab coat. I'm like, and that's a Wikipedia fact. You can go look that up. That
tastes good. I didn't die. So
and I'm not dead. So let's put it in candy. It's like, okay, yeah, perfect. But you look at all these chemicals and the things that we're putting in our bodies. And then you have people asking the question, what should I supplement with? Or they're asking the wrong question. It's like, I don't know how else to say it. Figure out your sleep, figure out your light, figure out your nutrition.
Right.
You do those 3 things, your life will change.
It will.
And it's going to be hard because just like any addiction, you're going to have some kind of withdrawal.
Yep.
But these foods are chemically engineered to be not satiating. So you want more.
Bliss point.
Yeah. They're designed to give you a dopamine kick, just like the drugs are.
Yep.
And it's no shocker that big tobacco moved into foods.
I know.
And it's the same song and dance.
I have such a hard time staying away from those nicotine patches, man.
Oh, dude, I couldn't even get started. I told you. We were talking about
that's why I don't touch them, man. I mean, I would be in here like this.
Listen, getting off dip for the first, I couldn't do it again. Oh. And blood pressure for me is like runs in my family, so I'm good. But the concept here is I'm just a performance guy. Mm-hmm. The problem is that we have tons of evidence coming out now telling us that, like, wait a second, maybe we were wrong. Actually, no, in a lot of regards, we were wrong. Mm-hmm. That I can go and read just because I have a rudimentary understanding of statistics.
Yep.
But we have these dietitians in the system, and there are good ones out there. Mm-hmm. There are. And I'm not going to be one to say, like, listen to me over a dietitian or a physician, because like they're specialized and like that's way more reputable.
Right.
But just because they have letters behind their names doesn't mean that they can't read the same study and get the same amount of information that I'm getting when I read it.
Yep.
It's freaky because it's like they're not approaching, and I hate the word like root cause, but that's what it is. It's like the underlying fundamental issue here of human psychology.
Yep.
That's what it is.
It is.
You got to put on your thinking cap and you got to be like, okay, Because that's a problem right now is so many people have to go find this information for themselves because like you said, we can't trust the doctors. There's like, I would say that trust in doctors and physicians, I don't have a number in front of me, but just from my anecdotal experience and talking to people, the trust levels are diminishing crazy because so many people are specializing, and it's like, you're hearing me, but you're not hearing me. So many people will go to a doctor and they're just like, I didn't feel like anything I said was heard.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
Well, they're trained. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but they're being trained by the same people trying to sell you pills. Yeah. It's a prescription laden education system where it's like, let's not address the underlying root cause.
It's not profitable.
If you're 400 pounds and your butt hurts, you go to the doctor, here's a pill. It's not, hey man, let's get you down to your normal weight of 180.
And two, like I see it as the issue that I would see that I'm not, again, I don't have numbers to this, is if everybody all of a sudden decided that they wanted to go whole foods organic, wild caught, grass fed, free range, we would have a huge sustainability issue. We would. Because it's like, we have a lot of farmland that's...
All right, never mind. Shut up. Stop talking.
But we would run into an issue. So it's like the infrastructure doesn't exist currently, but it's one of those things where I think that the more people wake up to it, the more we're going to start.
I definitely think they are.
Yeah. And I think it starts with programs and stuff like the Vanguard, where it's not something you got to go look up on your own. It's coming to you in your workplace. Yeah. And you're going to learn about it. You're going to experience the benefits. You don't have to go out there and figure all this out on your own, because that's, like I said, all that information. And
I mean, dude, we talk about all kinds of stuff, but we
literally talked about black holes.
We have
one day, and like how it was just like,
dude, never mind. Damn it.
Ezekiel and aliens.
Woo! But it's a learned behavior. We've talked about this probably like 3 workouts ago. Mirror neurons. It's a real thing. It's in your brain. And what those are, when you immediately meet somebody, whatever their behavior is, those neurons will kind of start to mirror. So if it's a negative based person, it's going to try to mirror that. That's all connected to your prefrontal cortex. So with that in mind, if you grow up around a family who at 8:00 at night starts just tearing into a bag of chips, or you see these behavioral patterns, they become generational, because those mirror neurons connected to your prefrontal cortex create a behavioral pattern from early age. And so by the time you're an adult, you have the same behavioral pattern that your parents had, and which is why typically, if you see a family who's very fit, the kids live a fit life, because
or the opposite.
It can be the opposite too. But what the important thing is, like when you have like what we're trying to do here, when we can get these young men and women in at 22 right out of college before they're neurologically really set. And it's crazy. We have 60-year-olds, 70-year-olds that are changing their life, right? But it's a lot easier when you're that age. You can get them into an environment where they're getting into a routine and a behavioral pattern of working out, eating right, who they're around. Iron sharpens iron, right? That's that whole point. I truly think it lies up in that brain based on who you're around. But that's the whole point in all of that. And so with just this culture that we're kind of trying to develop, it's creating more than just, hey, go get some work done for me. Let's try to improve your life, create harmony in your life, spiritual, physical, mental, personal, professional, and then everything in your life gets better. Yeah. Hopefully. Yeah. I mean, we're not therapists, and but we're trying to give as much opportunity to our people. And, you've been a huge part of that. It's been fun, dude. I mean, we continually come out with great ideas. We got a whole lot of work to do with just like all these portals, and I mean, I don't know what our theme's going to be next. I don't want to. I mean,
I think we said Marvel characters. I think Marvel characters.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
Are we going
to have some bad guys?
Oh yeah.
I think we need to have some bad.
I think we make William Thanos.
Ooh. I wonder if he'll take that. I think William,
that's a big responsibility.
Like just a dark side there. Yeah. We'll give Clayton
a little bit of a confusion.
Clayton can be Groot.
Yes.
Sorry, Clayton. Sorry.
Or Baby Groot.
There you go. You know, I guess kind of when it comes to, I want to ask this one other thing, because you also deal with a lot of younger athletes.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to younger athletes and their parents and, you know, advice you would give them on expectations based on what you've seen, because you've seen, and I know you don't judge. I mean, we've talked about this stuff a long time because you get it, but you've seen families come in who, let's say they don't handle it well when it comes to how they're talking to their children about the expectations that come out of this versus the ones who do. Because, you know, we talk about, why do you work out? What's the biggest thing you gain from working out? And I think you and I would both agree that one of those huge things is it's somewhere you get to go in a controlled environment and face adversity, which gives you this, it strengthens that adversity muscle just for life, so that when you're hit with a hard thing, you have that muscle built there to say, you know what, I can overcome this. Just like when Lannan put whatever weight on the squat bar, I overcame that, right? Because you don't want to go in there some days.
You know how hard it is to work out in a gym where you also work? Some might argue, like, my coworker's probably like, dude, you're an idiot. But it's hard.
I know.
But the cool thing about a gym is that you also get to control the narrative. Like you said, it's controlled. Mm-hmm. It's like playing a video game and like deciding what difficulty you want to play the other team on.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you get to decide.
You do.
But you also get more of a sense of fulfillment if you push a little harder, whereas it's kind of this give and take, right? But to kind of answer your question, if I believe I'm hearing it right, you're asking more so, what is it, like, what advice would I give parents
on how to approach it with their kids and just with the performance world and the perception of sports? Because, you know, like I said, man, you've seen the really great college athletes, great professional athletes, not just MLB too, but just the perception going into it. What's the mindset to go into it for them?
Well, let's put it this way, and you know, it's the bitter truth. It's a hard truth. When I was growing up, I wanted to play in the MLB.
Sure.
That was my goal as a kid, like all the way up through like maybe freshman year of college. And then I realized, like, oh shit,
he's good.
He ain't got it. Like, well, I guess we got to start looking at accounting.
Yeah.
I was always one of the best on the team. I was always the fastest. And then you get to a point where it's like, you're going to hit that place where you're not the biggest fish in the room or in the pond.
Yeah.
It was a bitter pill to swallow, but once, I mean, I love what I do. Like, I love the autonomy that comes with it, the personal development, the things that I do on the side that help fulfill other aspects of my life as well. Helping Lindsay with her business. It's all very fun. I love where we're at. If I played the MLB, we never would have met. And it's like, life is great.
Yeah.
So let me start by saying that I'm not disappointed in any way, shape, or form with where I'm at in life. I love it.
You hear that, Lindsay?
So, but to that point, if I would have had a mentor in my life kind of guide me and give me that reality check, that wasn't necessarily my parents, because like my parents didn't know shit about what it takes to raise a professional athlete. They'd never met anybody who was even a professional athlete. But I think when we did the first podcast, I'd kind of mentioned that I always like to ask the parents kind of what their take was. Because sometimes they'll come visit over the holidays. Like we've got Thanksgiving coming up, Christmas. Sometimes they'll come in. The dads might come in and work out with the athletes, and I'll just kind of pick their brain. I'm like, so like, what was your secret sauce, so to speak? And they're always like, I've never once heard, I knew he was going to be a professional athlete. Not one time. Yeah. So I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, okay, you know, if like 20 million people listen to this podcast, there is going to be 1 to 2 listeners who have kids who are going to be professional athletes. If that's their goal. If all 20 million of those people wanted their kids to be professional athletes. Like that's not a real number, but like that's essentially that's the odds, the battle you're choosing to fight.
Right.
So beyond that, you can't show up to the weight room to want to be a professional athlete. Yeah. You can have that as your goal, and I'm cool with that. And I'm gonna lay it all out for you. And I'm gonna be like, this is where you gotta be here. We're gonna set those checkpoints, those little wins.
And to your credit, you are true to that. He once had a man come in at like 64 saying he wanted to pitch in the MLB, and he was dead serious. Is that a true story?
It wasn't harsh, but I sat him down and I said, hey, man.
Knuckleballer, if I'm...
Knuckleballer, yep. I sat him down and I said, let's be real. It's like I have a high sample size of guys that I've trained. Just be real.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was a bitter pill for him to swallow, but he ultimately like thanked me. He was like, listen, man, like no one's told me. And I'm like, yeah, that's part of the problem with the world is people are afraid to actually be real.
Yeah.
Anyways, if you go to the gym and your sole reason for being there is to achieve something that is very far-fetched, I wouldn't call you a fool because like prove me wrong.
Yeah.
I love when people prove me wrong. I don't know everything, but I've got a lot of experience now over 10 years where I've seen what it takes.
Yeah.
And it's a very small percentage of people that make it. You have to have an underlying reason for being there that's outside of the realm of sports.
Yep.
You've got to, like, it teaches you at a young age to work hard.
Yep.
First and foremost, do something and feel pain and feel discomfort.
Yep.
So that when you go and you're in a emotionally uncomfortable place or a spiritually uncomfortable place or a place in the workspace that you don't feel comfortable with, you're all the better at being able to handle that because you taught yourself something as a kid or your parents helped you teach you something that led its way to you being able to handle adversity in the real world too.
Yeah.
It's like, we know the real world's going to throw you curveballs just like a Cy Young winner's going to.
Yep.
And you're going to struggle with it just as much. And that for me is why I keep working out.
Yeah.
It's like, I was an athlete, I'm not anymore, but like, I'm still an athlete.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm still working towards something. So I think
the definition of an athlete is training your body.
Okay, I'll get on board with that.
Yeah, and I mean that actually that's what Paul said. You know, you train your body in the New Testament, but when you're in the gym, you're trying to train your body.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing if you're doing a cold plunge. Everyone, why do we do that? Because it's a hard thing to do. It sucks, and you almost don't do it every day.
It's not going to kill you.
It sucks.
Yeah,
and you almost don't do it every day. You roll out of bed and you're just like.
Now.
But that's not where you start. But to your point, you are an athlete. Mm-hmm. Just being in the gym, training your body, doing that.
Yeah. And you know, you can use it as stress management. I did that as a kid. Like I had a little heavy bag that I'd hit when I was a kid, and it was stress detox for me. Yeah. Going to the gym was a social thing. I went with my buddies. Yeah. Kind of helped me navigate, okay, how to not look like an idiot in here and how to actually succeed at things. I saw it start to help me with baseball.
Oh my God!
So I
to mind something.
Yeah, I know.
Go ahead. Sorry.
There's a lot of different reasons to be in the gym or to be in the classroom or whatever that is. If life was easy and we taught kids that life's easy, we'd be in a terrible place.
Yeah.
And I think we're starting to realize like that's kind of where we were going.
Yeah.
And I still worry sometimes that that's still the case, but adversity is something that if you wait for it to come to you and you don't microdose it or sometimes macrodose it, like on the treadmill with the deadlift, you're not going to be ready for it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the theme to it all. It's you've got to expose yourself to trauma.
Yeah.
To get better at working with trauma. Hans Selye's general adaptation syndrome. It's something I use every day.
Yep.
It's that which doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Yeah.
Right? That's not the law, but it's basically if you expose yourself to stress, the next time your body comes in contact with the stress, given the fact that it's had ample time to recover and make the necessary adjustments to that stressor, it will be more resilient to that stress.
Yep.
And that's cellular, that's muscular, bones, we see that.
Yeah. It's mental. Oh, for sure.
Spiritual.
Yep.
That's how God created us. Is
getting refined, man.
Yeah. And how many times you see adversity in the Bible? And how many times you see God telling us not to fear in the Bible?
Be strong and courageous. Yeah.
Because we know that adversity is a way of life. It's a part of life.
Yep.
That is a concept that you can really teach a kid in the gym.
Yep.
And through performance training, through accomplishing something. Because I can tell you what, them getting the next badge on their video game, it's not teaching them success. They didn't have to go through any type of adversity to get there.
Yes. And that is the point that should be the whole reason you get your kid into sports,
100%
into lifting. And if that other stuff happens, it's great. Cause I'm going to tell you, getting into college, playing D1, it is not what you think it is.
Nope.
It's like, hey, listen, man, it's honorable. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just telling you, it is not what you think it is. And I guarantee you go talk to a lot of MLB people or NHL guys or WNBA gals or whatever. They're going to tell you it ain't all it's cracked up to be. Is there some money there?
Yeah.
Sure. But I mean, you're done by the time you're 40, and that's if you're the best. What are you going to do with the rest of your life, too, on top of that?
We have every year a very prominent MLB team. Don't want to disclose it.
All good. They
do a camp or like a modified showcase at Chadwick's. They pay us to use the facility on a Saturday. It happened this last week. And they do a presentation, and I've kind of just listened in on it a little bit, and it's essentially telling these younger athletes, it's the top prospects from like Alabama, North Carolina, Northwest Georgia, Mississippi, around Tennessee, right? And they do this presentation to these kids and their parents, and they basically sit there and what I would say try and talk you out of wanting to play professional baseball.
Yeah.
Because they tell you when you're in the minors, you're making shit money.
Yep.
You're on the road. You have no social life. And then in the off season, you're expected to develop. And that's kind of up to you to pay for. Maybe your agent does, but like your SOL, right? It's a world where a lot of these guys and girls in professional sports have the same, if not more amplified problems than you and I have at the darkest points of our lives.
Right.
And it's a lonely place. It's a very unstable environment.
Yeah.
So I encourage people to really think hard on what it is that you're trying to accomplish.
Yep.
Which is, again, that stability piece. Gain your bearings, figure out where you're at, and then let's start organizing a structured way to achieve your goals.
Yes. Well, and we talk about it with the kids, man. On top of the adversity thing, set your dream out there and learn to completely devote yourself to that dream.
Mm-hmm.
And learn how to just to push out all the crap that doesn't matter and focus on your school. If it's sports, great. If you want to be a professional drone racer, great. Whatever it is, completely devote yourself to that. Because here's the thing. The beautiful thing about business as opposed to sports, if you're not born 7'3" and can jump out of the gym, or you can't throw a baseball 102 mile an hour, in business, you can hire that person and you can build a team in business and hire the pieces and the parts that you're not good at. Like, I'm great at dreaming. I'm great at going. I'm great at visualizing. I'm semi good at saying stuff. There are people in this office that are great at things that I'm not great at. You can't do that in sports. If you can't run a 4.240, you can get better at it, but you're never going to run a 4.240. You're never going to have a 40-inch for it. It's just not. But guess what? You can hire that person in business and build out a winning team. So if you learn and take those, those tools that you get in sports and apply it to business, boy, I mean, you'll take off.
Yeah. One thing I'm seeing too right now, and you make a good point, with our interns and stuff coming through and just this college age, this new entering the workforce demographic.
Yeah.
Key word of advice that I would have for all of them is something I'm noticing, a trend that I think I'm noticing the first generational gap between my generation and what's to come into the workforce is because so many people have it figured out. They're expecting themselves the year they come out of school to like have a budget. Here's the thing. They're using AI, which is a great thing. They're using AI to create these life goals, these life plans, which is good. But they still, like you said, they haven't developed yet neurologically into the person who they're going to be for the rest of their lives. So there's still kind of a spinning top that has yet to find its groove.
Yep.
And what I'm noticing, and again, this is anecdotal, this is just my experience in the conversations that I've had with a few of them when talking professional development, because I have had some people at Chadwick's and then outside of Chadwick's approach me and basically want career advice.
Mm-hmm.
They are asking the right question on compensation. First off, this industry, you don't get paid a whole lot unless you're like top of the top.
Yep.
Then you can get decent. But for the most part, it's a struggle. And they see that, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, they're not willing to commit themselves to it for 1 year.
Yeah.
Because if it's not optimal, it's not worth the time. To which point I had a conversation with one of our staff members at Chadwick's. I said, just commit 2 years to it. It's like when I started in this industry, I told Josh, the part owner at the time, I was like, dude, I can give you a year. Because I had the same questions. I was like, I don't know if I want to do this for the rest of my life. Like, I love it, but I don't know if like I might go back to school, get my MBA. Like, yeah, I'm going to give you 1 year, but I'm going to commit everything I got. If I'm here, I'm here for 1 year.
Yep.
Turned into 2, turned into 5, turned into 7. We're going on 10. Like, that's how it works.
Yep.
But if you never commit on the front end and you don't really go all in on one thing, you're never going to expose your true potential. And that's like the one piece of advice.
Well, we talk about that with undeniable mentality, doing the profiles and helping people understand them, and then giving them here's the optimal things that will give you fulfillment in life. Now, is it ultimately going to fulfill you? Maybe, depending on how far, but I guarantee if you look at some of the people, men, women that come into personal training, and I'm just going to specifically talk to the disc profile, the ones that are willing to take that chance they're okay with taking risks. They probably have a higher driver. You know, the steadier analytical people that are not good risk takers. They don't like risk. It's okay. That's just how they're wired. They end up not wanting to do it, or they'll try to get into something else when they see what it truly is. Yeah. And so that's where this power of understanding yourself, your wiring, your value system, your motivators is a huge one. I'm big on, like, one of my main motivators is being individual. Like, I want to be my own person. And if you're not motivated by that, if it's more of a theoretical motivation, which a lot of people are, go do that.
Yeah.
But you don't know that. So maybe you got bad advice from a parent. But I can tell you this. There's 2 things that I learned from this podcast today. Number 1, Keegan, it's never too late to follow your dream. Okay? Drone racing. We're going to go after it. Okay? If a 64-year-old can try to be an MLB knuckleballer, you, sir, can be.
I'm going to go ahead and tell you, though, his knuckleball had 4-seam rotation, but the opposite direction. I don't know how I did it.
I'm going to need to see that, like, in a sketch or something.
It was a full 62 miles an hour. It had 12-6 rotation.
Yep. And it was a home run waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, honestly, he might have actually been kind of effective, because it would have thrown
Phil
people
Necro
through,
did it,
man.
Phil Necro.
Just bring him in, bottom of the 9th, World Series, bases juice. They ain't touching that thing. Just that's his only
fan. Okay. I mean, the nerves are jumping. Yeah. But 2, you're a badass dude, man. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Man, you've become, the stash you've grown, the life you've created. And I say you've created it. You and I are both believers. We know that it ultimately comes from the Lord, but you have stuck to the process. Good times and bad, credit card debt. You got out of all that, man. Just seeing all the things that you've overcome. We all have to. I was having breakfast with a young guy this morning. You know him, and he kind of just now got into this entrepreneurial journey, and just giving him some encouragement, saying, hey, man, it's normal. It's normal. It's okay. It's hard.
If you don't want to throw the towel in at least 10 times in the first year, you're not doing it right.
That's exactly right. So thanks for coming on, bro. I'm proud of you.
Thanks for having me.
And look forward. We'll be doing this again, man. But by the way, this first episode at the table, I think we're going to stick to this. It's this.
Bring it all to the table.